Advanced Accounting. In this video, we're going to go over a sale of an international transaction, okay? All right, so here's the particular problem we're going to look at. It's on December 20th, 2020, Mormier Company, a US-based company, sold parts to a foreign customer at a price of 50,000 rials. I hope that's how I say it. Period. Payment is received on January 10th, 2021. Current exchange rates are as follows. So they have December 20th in exchange rate, they have December 31st in exchange rate, and they have January 10th in exchange rate. Then it's asking, how do the fluctuations in the US dollar per rial exchange rate affect the 2020 income statement? And then B, they're asking for the effect on the 2021 income statement. All right, here's the way that you really have to do these. You have to do journal entries and you have to understand what is happening with these accounts. All right, so let's go through it. So they sold, the local currency is $50,000 and they sold on credit. The US dollar though, you're going to take the 50,000 and you're going to multiply it by 1.05. So the accounts receivable is give me a sec. All right, so the accounts receivable, we've got debit, we've got credit. I'm at Worcester State today, by the way. All right, so we take 50,000 and we multiply it by 1.05. And so our accounts receivable is 52,500. That's our first journal entry. And then we credit sales, 52,500. That's what we do on December 20th. Well, this does not clear out, or we don't get the payment until the next year. So this is 2020. Let me make this clear. Yes. So this is 2020, okay? And this will also be 2020, December 31st. Okay. When you sell internationally, even if your account has not finished or has not cleared out yet, you have to make an adjustment at the end of the year. So always remember this. If you're going from one year to the next, so this is 2020 to 2021, at the end of 2020, you have to make an adjustment to whatever the spot rate is at that time. So they tell you December 31st, 2020, the spot rate is $1.02. So what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what that new value is. So it was 52,500 minus, you're going to figure out over here what the new value is. So you're going to take the 50,000 over here and you'll multiply it by 1.02. When you do, that gives you 51,000. Well, guess what? That's what you're saying this is valued at right now at the end of December 31st, 2020, 51,000. So your adjustment, you just take the difference, and that's $1,500. All right. You're selling, right? So when you're selling and you thought you were going to get cash ultimately of 52,500 in US dollars, but guess what? The spot rate at that time is only 51, so that's a loss. So sometimes students say, you know, Professor Clay, I don't get if it's a gain or loss. Well, guess what? You had accounts receivable on the books for 52,500. Now the accounts receivable is 51. So what are you going to do to accounts receivable? you're going to credit. Accounts receivable. You're going to credit for $1,500. The other side will be a debit. That's always a loss. Loss on foreign exchange. So remember, if you need a debit to balance your entry, it's always a loss. If you need a credit, it's always a gain. $1,500. And what did you do? You adjusted to spot rate. So remember that. If it's at the end of the year, you always have to adjust to spot rate. You don't, we wouldn't have to do this if this cleared out before year end, but we're going from one year to the next. All right, now we go to 2021. And now what they're saying is the spot rate at that time is 0.98. All right, so I'm going to debit cash. Here, let me kind of put it over here. I'm going to debit cash 50,000 times 0.98, and that gives me 49,000. Boy, I'm getting lower and lower. Well, that's the bad thing when companies have international transactions. You have to depend on the spot rate. So debit cash, 49,000. Okay? All right, let's do the accounts receivable next. Accounts receivable. It was 52,500, but we adjusted it downward. So my accounts receivable now is 51,000. Okay? So I go over here and I credit my accounts receivable not for 52,500, for 51,000. Well, when I do, guess what? I thought my cash was going to be 51. It's only 49. I have a loss on foreign exchange. Of $2,000. Okay? All right, so this particular problem asked you what's the effect on the income statement. Well, here's your first, for this foreign exchange, here's your first loss right here, 1,500, okay? So in 2020, I have a loss of 1,500. In 2021, I have a loss of 2,000. So whenever you analyze a gain or loss, always do those journal entries. This particular problem didn't ask for journal entries. Do them so that you can analyze what's happening. And that's how you do that problem. All right, I'll see you soon.